and that's going to be in an upcoming episode. And we've got a whole new audience that's out there because folks are starting to download the podcast. We managed to double our subscribership, more than double our subscribership last week alone. And I think it's because we put your lovely face on the YouTube video.
I think you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah, we put. Yeah, so we put the. Let me pull that back from you just a little bit. I could tell you're in one of those. You're fired up about this one.
Feisty.
Yeah, I can tell. But no, we did. We put the video out, the first five and a half minutes on the Facebook Watch Chad Prather page, and on YouTube. And a lot of folks they did that, and then they went over and they subscribed. And let me also tell you guys, if you subscribe to the podcast, I know that this is. If you want to subscribe to the podcast and you don't know how, and I know I'm probably preaching to the choir because if you're listening to this, you probably are already listening. But if you're watching the video, then let me just tell you how you subscribe to a podcast. If you have an Apple iPhone, you have a built-in app, Apple Podcast. It's a little purple app with a little the podcast logo on there. Go to that, hit it, search Chad Prather. It will pull up the Chad Prather Show. Hit subscribe, and it'll notify you every single week that the podcast is available. It usually is there and available for streaming or download on Thursday morning. And if you don't have an Apple product, that's a big question that a lot of people have. I encourage you to get the Podcast One app or get the Podbean app. Is one of my favorite ones. And if you go on there and search Chad Prather, you'll find it. You can also go to, just do a search, Podcast One, all one word, Podcast One all together, Chad Prather on Google or whatever your search engine may be. And guess what? They're going to send you right to the homepage for this show, and you can hit subscribe. So now that we've got that out of the way, thank you guys for listening. I think we have folks that are subscribing, tens of thousands. Tell your friends about it. It's a lot of fun. I love having Jade on here, and I think that has been – I don't think I even need to be on the show anymore.
Yeah, this is his last show.
Yeah, it's just you. Going to be just you. But no, people do love it. They love it because you give it back to me. And last week, let's see, we put the video on, so people were complaining that, one, I was wearing a baseball cap and not a cowboy hat. So this week I'm just not even wearing a hat. I needed to be using a coaster on my table because we had a cup of coffee that was on here. There was I don't let Jade talk enough. And what else was there? There were a number of different things that everybody wants to invade your life and tell you all about it. So I can't wait to see what the comments will be this week. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, it'll be that you don't have a hat and they don't recognize you.
Yeah, we almost didn't know who you were. Oh, my God, you have some hair. Not much, but I got a little bit. And so here's the topic I want to talk about. I'm disappointed right now, talking about going out to L.A. and going to Hollywood. I'm disappointed in the movies, the caliber of movies that are coming out today. Does it bother you at all? We like going to the movies.
Yes.
We have kids who like going to the movies. I like seeing movies, certain movies at the theater. Some I can wait and watch them when they come out on whatever it is, Apple movies and whatever, and rent them and watch them at home. But some you just need to see.
I agree.
The Star Wars movies. What else?
The Avengers movies.
So the Marvel comics.
Yes.
You pretty much have to see those.
And DC comics.
The big Superman, Batman, and all of that stuff. And there's just some blockbusters that you need to see. Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, all of those. Those are fun movies. I love watching people getting eaten by dinosaurs.
Absolutely.
I mean, who sat there in a creative room with executive producers and says, here's what we're going to do. We're going to recreate a whole world full of dinosaurs, and we're going to feed people to them. And you people are going to love it, and we're going to build a whole franchise around it.
And they're making tons and tons of money.
Tons and tons of money. And but aren't you tired of it? Be honest. I mean, are you tired of the sequel after sequel?
Yeah, with some of the movies I am.
Yeah.
I was a little bit disappointed with the last Avengers movie that had everybody in it, or almost everybody.
It's almost like the budget's too big to make a good story. You got to pay all these big actors and all of these folks and put it in there. And I know you have the wow factor of like, oh, they're in it. Oh my gosh, they're in it. And now you got the Guardians of the Galaxy guys. Now they're in it. Ooh, wow, everybody's in it. And then at the end of it, you're like, I don't know about this story.
Yeah, it was kind of far-reaching. And Thor's world is gone. I was like, I don't like that at all.
It's gone. And so if you watched the Thor Ragnarok movie, which was the last Thor installment, he saved half of the population of his planet.
Right.
But then at the beginning of the Infinity Wars, the rest of them, they were all wiped out. Thor was the only one who survived because Thanos showed up and did what Thanos does.
But I don't think that would have really happened. Thor would not have allowed that.
He did allow it because he couldn't stop Thanos. So Thanos, which of course comes from the Greek word thanatos, which means death. So there you go. They were smart at least, and now you're welcome for that little bit of Greek trivia. So so obviously at the end of this thing, and if you haven't seen Marvel's Infinity Wars, the Avengers Infinity Wars, you might want to stop the podcast right now because I'm going to give you the spoiler alert. At the end of it, half everybody is gone. They die. Thanos kills everybody with a snap of a finger, blah, blah, blah.